Okay.
Yep. Okay. So we will use the same password and ID, and I'll make sure that we put it in the top of our emails for a couple weeks until we get going. So as we and I should offer that if you have need any assistance with Zoom, please feel free to call me. My number is in the emails I sent you, and I will also put it in the next email that I send out. But please feel free to call me or send me an email, because I use it pretty much 4 or 5 hours a day, and I've started taking classes learning how to use it. So there's all kinds of things we can do with it throughout the year, which I think will be a great opportunity for us to do that. So I talked about how we got here. First off, when the coronavirus hit, the impact hit, it kind of put us in a position that we had to make some decisions. And talking with our executive director, Greg, and Fran, and Larry, who's working with us on education, was we needed to do something, knowing that spring divisionals, for one, had been canceled, and the lieutenant governor in-person education had been canceled. It's my understanding that on Tuesday, yes?
I've got Sharon on the phone, and she's hitting it, and it just saying launching. Is there what phone number can she call in on to hear?
Hold on, let me find it here really quick. She should call in on 1-312-626-6799.
And then use the ID code?
The meeting ID and the password, yes.
Okay. Did you hear that, Sharon, or do you want me to repeat it?
I heard her say that.
Okay, all right, go. I'll mute.
Okay. So when all these things started happening, we determined that we needed to do something, because we didn't want to wait until July. I was talking about this on Tuesday. The governor of the state of Michigan is supposed to be making a new directive on where we will be with stay at home. And there's, no one really knows how much longer it's going to be, but I know that there's, that's something we got to think about, and where we can go from there. And then whether there's situations as far as how many people can get together, we really don't know. So we felt to be our next best step, was to do a couple of calls once a week. And that's something we'll talk about later, but to do all your training throughout this time, and we'll spread it out over several months, versus doing it all in one weekend and taking everybody away from their families, and realizing that people probably aren't going to want to stay together in big groups for a while once we get things going. So that's where we are with our program. So today and tomorrow, as I put on our program, virtual education, this is the platform. Here's the information. You will get a copy of this PowerPoint, as well as get a link to a website where we are going to store all the documents. So Brian Tenflinger, who's with us from Kiwanis International, will be setting up has set up a site for us that we can dump all the Michigan documents in, that you will be able to have access to, including our schedule, and including everything that we use for the program, including these PowerPoints, as well as the recordings that we are putting together for you. So that information will go there. You can enter Zoom by web, or you can call in, depending on which your accessibility is. The only challenge you have if you call in is that you won't be able to see us, but that will, you'll still get all the materials from that regard. So on tonight's call is Governor-elect Fran, our education chair, or Larry, who's helping me with education. I remember the immediate past governor, and Larry will be in charge of membership development next year. And then our two candidates for next year's governor-elect, Frank Palazzolo and Rosemary Robinson, are on the call with us tonight. And then lieutenant governors. And then there are, as I said, there are some leadership development coordinators from throughout the country. This program has been sent to the Kiwanis International president, President-elect Art Riley, as well as a couple other people. And it's kind of being one that people are saying, hey, look, maybe this is something we need to go with. How can we use the same program? So while we're a couple months ahead, it may be something that throughout the system, when we have different speakers, that other districts may jump in on with us. Education materials, there will be a Lieutenant Governor handbook that we will get to you. It is in print, being printed right now. We will be able to get you an electronic copy as well. Once that is available to you, we'll send that out. excuse me, materials will be available 3 to 4 days each session on SharePoint, which is the system that we're setting up with Brian out at Kiwanis International. So we will let you know. All of our speakers have to provide their information to us a week ahead of time so that you can have all that material ahead of time so that you can take a look at it, and we strongly encourage you to do that. And then, of course, we will provide links to you for that information as well. You can pretty much guarantee that 99% of our communication will be electronic, given the situation we're in. If we should happen to get into club leadership education sessions in the summer where we can meet, we will communicate that information to you. But in the meantime, we're going to have to run our education program through this system. So with that, I will turn it over to our Governor-elect Fran and let her welcome.
Before I go any further, though, I want to thank Sue. She has worked long and tedious hours spearheading this development of this training and getting it all electronically done for us. So I want to think we're very grateful for her, and we're grateful she's in our Michigan district. And I have many other governor-elects that want me to give Sue to them, and I keep thinking, no, she's not going anywhere. She's staying in Michigan.
I could go, but I'd cost a lot of money.
Okay, I'll tell them that next time. Okay, on the screen should be my contact information. Feel free to call me or text me or email me with your questions, comments, or concerns at any time. And when you're emailing me, would you please put the word Kiwanis in the subject line? Because I'll try to answer you within a day, probably up latest 2 days. But if for some reason you don't hear from me in 2 days, send me another message. I am having a real hard time getting a handle on all my emails and getting them all read and getting them all answered. And sometimes they get lost. So make sure you look for that. I am looking forward to enjoying the coming year as governor. I would like to attend your division council meetings. So please give me advance notice of when and where they'll be. And some people are talking to actually having Zoom conference meetings, division council meetings. I'm looking forward to attending many of your service projects and events. But I do paperwork. However, please let me know often what is happening in your division. Okay, next slide. Okay, as I look forward to enjoying our coming Kiwanis year, I want you to be able to enjoy it also. You will be interacting with more Kiwanis members than you probably have ever done in the past. Enjoy meeting the members of your clubs. As governor, I can't be everywhere. So remember, you as lieutenant governor are the face of Kiwanis in your division. Reach out to your clubs and division members, get to know them and enjoy your time with them. Enjoy the events in your division, interact with your clubs, and be ready to share information with your clubs and with me. But most of all, view this position as one you're looking forward to and will enjoy. And now I'm sending it back to Sue because we're going to talk about future training sessions. Hey, Sue, you're on. Next slide.
She's muted.
Mute yourself, Sue.
Did she mute us? Okay,
There I
Sue,
am.
you're on.
So I was saying that Fran and I we've been on email most of the day today, and she sent me a message earlier that she was really getting excited to get this training started. So I was really excited to see that you know, we're moving ahead, and we're going to make sure that we want to make sure that you guys are completely prepared for this and you have a great year ahead. So one of the things I want to do now is Greg,
Can I add something about this training?
I'm throwing you on right now, Greg.
Thank you. So this is the 6th Lieutenant Governor training that I've participated in since I've been executive director. And even though it's something that we didn't want to have happen this way because of the circumstances, I actually think this is going to set a new direction for us. And I actually think this is going to be better training than we've ever done. And I'll tell you why for a couple of reasons. One is that in the past, we crammed everything into one weekend, a Friday night through Sunday. And so you were getting stuff thrown at you over the course, and some of the people who had been lieutenant governors before know this, what it was like. And then you're expected to remember everything or refer to the book or know where to look in the book the rest of the year. Well, this is different in that we're piecemealing it out, and then there's a chance to digest some of the information. There's a chance to get into depth. There's a better chance for us to go into take a deeper dive into some of these subjects or come back to them or alter the schedule as time goes on. we've come up with some topics in the order, but if something becomes more, we can switch it around very quickly. So I think overall, this is going to better prepare you to be a lieutenant governor than anything we've ever done before. And quite frankly, I fully expect if it goes the way we think, this could be the future of the lieutenant governor training even after this crisis is over.
Thank you, Greg. Larry, would you like to make any comments? You have to
Mute him.
You have to unmute you. Go for it. Unmute yourself, Larry. That'll be our biggest challenge this year. Larry, unmute yourself.
Maybe he's miming it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
still
no.
muted. There he is.
There
Okay.
we go.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I just wanted to, I guess just ask, and as a past lieutenant governor, you know, it's a great experience. I think that's what started me on my path through the years in Kiwanis was when I became a lieutenant governor back in 09 or 10 or whenever it was back then. And I did it for 2 years. So don't be scared of 2 years, because you will learn a lot even in your subsequent years. Some of you that are repeating, but I'm going to be involved primarily with membership and growth this year. Got some different ideas of what we're going to do, but you'll be hearing more about that later in the training. So I just welcome you and wish you the best of luck.
Okay, thanks, Larry. The next thing I want to do is this kind of all came together 2 weekends ago when everything hit with coronavirus, and it was like, oh, we got to do training. How are we going to do this? So over one weekend, I started breaking down what the training had been that we typically do on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the training at the district convention, and said, okay, we've got to figure out a way to make this work so that we can get everybody the information they need. And since we still have some vacant positions right now, we want to make sure that we are getting that information recorded, so those people that are not here will be able to go back and listen to the recording. So originally we were going to start with a little more stuff today, but then we decided, you know what, we need to make sure people can get on Zoom and move forward with it and see what's happening. So that's where we are today. So we probably won't be a full hour today. Our original plan was to do Sunday nights and Wednesday nights for 1 hour a night. And as I'm going through this, I want you to think about that option. There has been a couple requests. People have said, hey, I can't do Sunday night. Can we do a different night, or can we do, you know, all of it in one night? I want to leave that, get your opinions on that. So we will unmute you all at one time to see where we are, which would mean we do 2 sessions. If we were to do it on Wednesday, we'd do 2 sessions together, or if there was another night. The one thing we will have to take a look at, should we go back to being active clubs as far as meeting in person, is we are going to run into some conflicts with clubs that meet in the evenings. So we want to take a look at that and the other obligations that you have with your family and friends. So we want to take a look at that. So I just want to give you kind of a rundown of where we're headed, and then we'll talk about answering any of your questions, and then see what your thoughts are on meeting for 2. The goal is to keep them to 45-minute sessions, and then 15 minutes for questions, and then, or 2 sessions a week, or to change it to 1 session a week. So next Wednesday, we're going to go a little more into who you are and what your information is about who you are and what excites you about Kiwanis. We're going to talk about the education team a little more and what we see moving forward. Of course, there will be no meeting on Easter Sunday. Wednesday, April 15th, I have secured President-elect Art Riley. Art will be here to talk about his goals for the next year, along with Fran. So they'll talk about their goals and plans for the year. And when I sent a note to Art, he's like, I'll be there. You just tell me when. There's not a problem. The following Sunday, we're looking at Kiwanis International from the structure standpoint. Brian Tenslinger, who's our representative from Kiwanis International, will talk about the basics of Kiwanis from the international, the district, your club, the organizational chart, and what Kiwanis is in that regard. Greg will talk about district operations the week after, to talk about what is happening there. So as you can see, some of these may not be full 45-minute sessions, but normally we're stuffing this in, you know, in 15-minute pieces at a weekend going, okay, you got to learn all this, Brian will talk about what your role is as a lieutenant governor. Brian will then come back the week after and talk about our membership trends for 5 years, where we've been and where we're going. We'll talk about resources that are available to you from Kiwanis International and the Michigan District. We'll then talk about district committees and the people that are out in the field, all the Governor Fran's committee members and her committee chairs, and how they can be involved and help you out. President Ron will come in and talk about the foundation. Jeremy Grinslade. So the other thing I've been able to do, because we're doing sessions shorter in this form, is that I've been able to get Kiwanis International people to be able to do these events. Because normally when you do a weekend, you can only get one person in. I have been able to secure someone from every area that we're looking at. Michelle Steady Campbell, who's the new Chief Executive Officer for the Service Leadership Programs, will come in and talk about our service leadership programs. And then we'll do a session on youth protection, which is a huge area of interest for us. Of course, we won't do anything Memorial Weekend. We've got some people coming in about talking about what the experience is. Larry will talk about strong divisions. We'll go into the strategic plan. So what we're doing is breaking everything down. So Vicki Hermanson will come in and talk from Kiwanis International about public relations and working with your local media. Steve Hatt will come in and talk about, he's very big into social media, what we will do there. There will be several breaks, because if Kiwanis International Convention is scheduled for those couple days, our teams are we're going to be gone. So we won't meet those days. Larry will talk about membership in his team. Of course, it's the 4th of July. So we'll talk about specific things. We'll help you talk about, or help you work through how to run a division council meeting, how to run your spring divisional. You know, we didn't have spring divisionals this year, so how do we revamp those? What do we need to do to re-energize those? There are several days that we just set aside as homework days. And it's basically of time that Fran and I and Larry and whoever will just be on Zoom. If you've got questions and you want to sign in and say, hey, what's going on? I need help with this. That's what we're here for. So we're making ourselves available in a different way, so that if you want to get on with other people, and if we get to the point where other districts are involved in this, you can talk to other lieutenant governors from around Kiwanis International. So we've broken it out to go till September, and I don't want anybody to freak out, but we want to make sure that when you get to district convention, you know what your responsibility is. When you get ready to do your first district board meeting, you know what your responsibilities are. And we want to make sure you have all that information right before it happens, not telling you now and then saying, oh, well, district convention's in August, figure it out then. We want to make sure you have that all now and provide you the tools to do these tasks and to move forward and help you do what you have to do. Division council meetings the same way, how you can run a division council meeting. Here, we're going to provide agendas and people that can talk, and maybe even get to the point of saying, hey, look, we can help you set up an agenda. We'll get you a speaker. Maybe Lori can come in and talk about Circle K International with that time. So we want to help you do that. So we're going to try to set up as much ahead of time for you, so that if we say, here's your division council meeting, these 3 people are coming to your division, we can arrange that for you. So we're going to try to do some of the back end administrative work for you to make your job easier and not as time consuming when you get down to that, because we can establish that is that way. So that's where we're headed. It does appear to be very aggressive when I first looked at it, but then I thought, you know what? It's 2 hours a week, and I realized we all have a lot of work to do, and we all got other commitments to do. But when we think about it, it might be the best 2 hours that week that you're learning something, and that knowing that I can bring the president of Kiwanis International in, or bring the executive director in, and bring some of the other, the chief financial officer in to talk about that stuff. You'll hear it from them, so it won't be just Fran and I all the time. We'll bring other people in to help with that work. So that will, once we finish up a couple of things here, we'll get that to you. But I want to open it up to everyone. So if everybody wants to unmute themselves and just see if there are any questions, thoughts. At this point, say hi.
Well, at this point, this is Mary.
Hi, Mary.
At this point, Wednesdays work because the church isn't, we're not meeting.
Okay.
So we have choir on Wednesday nights from 7:30 to 9.
Okay.
So at this point, Wednesdays are fine.
Okay.
But if and when we ever get back to where we can meet in our churches, then choir rehearsal will get in the way.
Okay. So how do we, what's our thoughts on, I see Frank, you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question.
Oh, I thought you had a question, okay. Are you comfortable with 2 nights a week? Would you prefer there be 1 night a week? That's the kind of thing we need to know to help you out. Like I said, we have a couple of people that can't make Sundays, or it's too late. 8 o'clock is too late for them because of their other commitments. They would have to go earlier, but I don't want a conflict with family time and church time on Sunday either. So I'm trying to get some help from you.
Sue, this is Tracy. Can you hear me?
I can, Tracy. Very good.
Okay. Both nights work good for me at 8 o'clock, so I'm fine with both for now.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Division 20 is good.
Division 20 is good. Okay.
Yeah, either way.
Either way. Okay.
Oh, good.
Let's see who else I got on here. Anybody else got any thoughts?
Okay, Fran does. Okay, I'm thinking I myself would rather do the 2 nights a week than 1 night for 2 hours. It just seems like we're going to lose you by the second hour. So if you can do the 2 nights, I think it would be better for you. Just my comment.
Yeah, I like that better.
And I think the one thing to know is that if you can't make a meeting, you can't make one. You know, we're not going to be chasing you down. I mean, we understand things happen. That's why we're doing the recordings. And it may mean that Fran or I have a little more effort to do with some of those who can't make every meeting, but that's okay because that's life. And we don't want to test, well, you can't do it because you can't be here. And I'm in the same boat. I'd rather do shorter sessions because like this one may only wind up being an hour or 40 minutes, and we may bring another one in to be 30 minutes. So I don't want to, we can't guarantee it on every session. So I want to make sure that we're helpful to you, but we also know you have other responsibilities.
Hey, Sue, I think Lori has a question.
I think she did, yeah.
Thank you. You saw my hand up there. No, I don't have a question. So these are going to be recorded, correct?
That's correct.
So we can go back and listen to them because I work at night. So Wednesdays I could possibly be on the phone but not video because I'm out working. And then Sundays is usually conference calls for like Circle K or whatever. Like right now they're having one. So, I'll do what I can. As long as they're going to be recorded, then I can go back and listen to them.
We will record them. As I mentioned earlier, that's the reason we have to have the password. If they get big enough, like when President Art is on, or we get someone from Kiwanis International, I may set it up as a webinar. And that way anybody can just sign into it and see it as a webinar and watch it. There won't be any face-to-face interaction with you. You'll have to chat with us on the system, which we can show you how to do. But that may make it easier. But we have to, one of the things I have to do along the way is how to make it work best for us. So yes, we will record them.
And we are also giving you all the PowerPoints. You'll get the PowerPoints and any handouts will be available to you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yep. Any other questions?
Hi, this is Sharon Gwizdowski. Can you hear me?
Yay.
Hey, the times in that sounds good, except Sunday, if it could be 7, it would help me out, but I can try to go with the 8. And hopefully I can get on Zoom. I have no idea why I could not, but they kept telling me I'm launching, but nothing happened for 10 minutes. So
Okay,
hopefully,
I'll make a
so
note.
hi, everybody.
Go ahead.
Hi, Sharon.
You're also quiet.
Scott, we haven't heard from you anything.
I'm going to be good for sure on the Sunday nights, the bulk of those. When we get into the Wednesday stuff, especially when we are back to doing events and moving around and things like that, I'll be a little bit hit and miss, but I'll try and be at as many of them as I can, of course.
All right. John?
Yeah, I'm like the rest of them. Once things start getting a little more active, I probably will miss a couple. But my question to Fran is, did you get a hold of Dick Luther on this?
No, I didn't. And it turns out you are the lieutenant governor for next year, for 2020, 2021. And that's what we're training right now.
Right, but he wanted to be it all the way to
Oh.
2020, 21, and then I would take over in 22, or 21, I mean. So that's what he wanted to do. He wanted 2 years back to back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I did with the meeting down in Mason, I can cover whenever he's not able to make it. I'll make contact with him tomorrow and see what's going on.
Yeah, because I contacted both Greg and Sarah, and they both said that you were the one for next year. So I didn't.
Unless he backed off, I'll have to check with him because he was adamant he wanted to do it. So
Okay.
Okay. Any other concerns? I'm very excited about trying this way. I just think there's so much information we can get out and not overwhelm everybody. And I know once my schedule picks back up with the big green guy, I could be on the road a lot too. So
Yeah.
we'll
we
just
can
have to-
only hope for you.
What was that?
I said we can only hope that you'll get busy again.
Me too. I really do want to get back to work. 3 weeks at home is not a good thing. So, did someone have something? Go ahead.
This is Don. Can you hear me?
We can. Yes, Don.
Oh, good. Yeah, Wednesdays and Sundays will be fine. And like most everyone else, Sunday will be best. And as we get out again, Wednesdays will be maybe not.
Yeah. Okay.
Fran, this is Greg.
Yes,
What
sir.
what would you like the process to be if somebody can't make a particular session? What should they let you know by a certain time before, or so we aren't trying to hunt them down? We know that they're not going to be there. What do you want that? How do you want that to be?
Yeah, that's true. We should, because then we're waiting for them to come on. Yeah, if they let us know the day before, just send me a text message or an email that we know not to wait for you. Otherwise, we're going to assume you're coming on so that we know. And then, like you say, we have the recordings. They can listen to the recordings afterwards. And as I was listening as you were talking, maybe when we finally get back to our quote normal, maybe we'll have to just move it to our Sundays and not Wednesdays if everybody's running into a problem once we get back with Wednesdays. But hopefully we'll get a lot of these in beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. So, Greg, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to invite you all to, for those of you that may not be following us on Facebook, is that every Thursday night at 8 p.m. we're doing a Kiwanis Let's Talk program. It started out as a way to help our clubs when we first went into shutdown, how to stay connected and what to do. And we talked about membership boost last week. And this Thursday at 8 p.m. on a webinar, Sean Blake Smith from the Pennsylvania district is going to talk about LGBTQ and you, and talk a little bit about the things that he has done. And as we're now getting into a point where we can be doing a lot of planning with our clubs to get ready for membership on the end when we finally come back live, so to say. So he'll be talking this week. The week after, and I will get this advertising and wait for all pictures, will completely be focused on youth protection. So Michelle Study Campbell is going to do a 45-minute session online for anybody that wants to learn about youth protection. For those of you that don't know, there's been significant changes to the program as far as education and what our members need to know. So she's going to do a session just on the youth protection program. And then the following week, we're going to invite some Circle Kers and Key Clubbers and some of our service leadership people to tell us what it's like to be a member of their organization and how Kiwanis may be able to help them or what they have provided for them. So we're actually booking out a couple weeks now, but it's picked up. We had about 75 people on our call last week from all over the world, people from Belgium and people from Germany, and we had it's starting to pick up, so we want to keep that session going. It is free, it's open to anybody. You just have to register as a webinar so that you have the password, so we don't get people bouncing into it that don't belong there. So that will be next Thursday, or this Thursday at 8 o'clock. So,
Hey, Sue, when
Yeah.
you register for those, the password, and that's going to be the permanent one for that,
that's correct.
but you have to register for it.
You have to register, yes. We may, the one thing I learned about with webinars is that we may be able to just live stream them on Facebook. So people that want to sign up can sign up, but we may just live stream on Facebook and people won't have to once we get through the first. It's all about education and me trying to figure it out as well. So, okay, with that, if there are no other comments, Fran, you want to make closing comments and we'll let everybody go?
Don't we have the one slide about the educational materials?
We
Or
did.
do I miss it? I've got every-
We're good to stay. We're going to stay with what we're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, by going through that, they're going to be getting a lieutenant.
Yep, we did talk about that. Yep. I will, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, we went through it up here. So we got that together with in there. So we are good. Okay, any other last questions, concerns?
Fran was trying to talk, but you either muted her or she muted herself. She still see her mouth open now.
Okay, guys. Next week, we're going to have you talk, and we want you to be able to tell us about you. So think about what you're going to talk about next week.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Sue?
Yes?
Got one comment for Fran. I just did speak with Dick Luther, and he's adamant that he will be the lieutenant governor in the fall.
Okay, perfect.
So you need to get a hold of him, Fran meeting, needing to get him on so he can be ready for Wednesday. And I told him there's a meeting this coming Wednesday. Now, with that said, please keep me in the loop on all the meetings, and I'll see I can get on as many as possible.
Okay.
So in case something happens, I can cover.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
I'm sure Dick's already familiar with Zoom as well. I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
And we'll learn to use mute and all that stuff even better next time, I promise.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right. We just got to keep going through more of it, right?
Yep.
Scott probably uses it more than I do. So, all right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Have a nice
Thanks,
day.
everybody.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
See you, Kate. Good night.
Good
Bye,
night.
Mike.